You're listening to the No BS Bishop podcast. We're alive to love, and all other values are potential BS. Now here's your host, Bishop Randy Dean.
Welcome to you all. I'm Bishop Randy Dean, and I'm alive to love. I am the No BS Bishop because I believe that all lesser values than love devolve into the caverns, the dark hole, the rabbit hole of BS, which is bait and switch, and its other iterations of BS as well. The only way to live life straightforward and upward is to live for love alone. No baiting and switching, no BSing, no taking people by the hand and pretending that we care and then showing that we really don't care when the chips are down, but living life out of the motivation and the security and the strength of love. So that's what I want to talk to you today about, the motivation, the safety, and the security of love. We'll get there in just a moment. So here on this broadcast and podcast, I do a couple of things on the regular just to keep me moving in a straight line forward and to help you understand how I hold this subject of love in my hand. If we're going to move straight forward in the safety and security of love, got to have a consistent foundation, and that's why I do what I do here with a few things to start us off and then to finish us. So I want to start with the Lord's Prayer in just a moment, and then in a few moments after that, I want to lead you in love's creed, a creed that I've written. All right? The Lord's Prayer. Now, this prayer, I say here every time, this is the most prayed prayer in history. I really do want you to let that sink in. Don't just dismiss that as some mostly obvious truth. It's to me, it's less than obvious that this prayer offered by Jesus, taught by Jesus to his original disciples, is offered as the security of keeping our prayers in a track toward how they really can be functional. So listen to it carefully, like you've never said it before, or maybe you haven't said it before. And I'm interested in those kind of folks. You're spiritual refugees, and you may not know the Lord's Prayer at all. That kind of gives me a sense of excitement that I could introduce you to this most prayed prayer in human history. So if you know it, join me. If you don't, just listen in. Tune into the words, savor them. Look it up online or other places, and find the Lord's Prayer as a tool and as a resource for how to meditate, how to pray. All right? So join me, if you will, and if you can, in the logic and in the power of the words that Christ taught us to pray when he said, "Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen." All right, yes, I won't reiterate what I said earlier, but this strength of the Lord's Prayer is well beyond most of what we, I think, can imagine. Maybe down somewhere in eternity, we'll all look at it and realize just how deep and wide, tall and beautiful that prayer has been for all of us millions of humans through hundreds and hundreds of years. All right, now let me take you to love's creed. I think creeds are valuable, just as the Lord's Prayer is valuable, because it's a baseline. It sets the tone. It sets the aim, if you will, for what we're going to be and what we long to be. We may not be it on any given day, but over time, this is our trajectory. This is the telescope view we carry of life. So I wrote this as a New Year's Eve resolution for a new year over a decade ago, and I've carried it with me since, and I've offered it here many, many, many times. So let me read it to you in total, then I'll go back through it and ask you to repeat after me love's creed. I'm alive to love. I am not on this earth for hate. I am alive for love. I'm not breathing, eating, and sleeping to regain energy for causing pain. I am alive with plans, dreams, and designs locked into anything and everything that is love. I am unavailable for anything less than love. Now, let's go back through it. Repeat after me. Be sure you pause inside and just savor what you're saying and see if something doesn't grab you and hold you and keep your attention. If not for just a day, but maybe for days on end, you can repeat it to yourself and keep yourself in that straight and narrow, beautiful path of the life of love. Here we go. I'm alive to love. I am not on this earth for hate. I'm alive for love. I'm not breathing, eating, and sleeping to regain energy for causing pain. I am alive with plans, dreams, and designs locked into anything and everything that is love. I am unavailable for anything less than love. All right, there you have it. If you'd like a copy of that, my wife is at the beginning of the broadcast, and at the end she'll give you our mailing address at randydeanministries@gmail.com. Be happy to send you a copy if you'd like it. Well, I want to get on to the topic for today, and I announced it earlier. I may readjust it already as I've been praying and then sharing the creed of love. But it's about the strength, the trajectory, the aim, moving life forward in love is what's cooking inside of me so much. I know that all of life is it's a cauldron of so many opportunities, so many unexpected tragedies, so much interruption, so much consistency, and sometimes just downright boredom, and sometimes constant treachery and terror can strike us. It's a cauldron, isn't it? Life holds all of that mix in one heated stew. But if we can find in ourselves some way to sustain the strength, the trajectory, the aim of something as powerful as love, and I'm personally convinced that there is no greater human power than love. I've said that here 1,000 times, that all of life will be summed up in love. I know a lot of people are pretty trigger happy about making sure that God gets his pound of flesh from the bad people, but I'm not there. That's not me. I am eager that God's love will sort out humanity and in the end of it all. I'm eager for that for myself. I want love to sort me out when it's all said and done. And I surely know my life has had plenty of ups and plenty of downs. I know my life's cauldron, the stew of my life, has had multiple unexpected twists and turns, disappointments, tragedies. Things got upside down, and I had to figure out what was right side up again. And what I want in my life is for love to sort that out. So if I want that in my life, it is imperative that I find a way, hard as it is, and I know it's hard, but I want to find a way for love to be the same container for every other human who's ever lived and breathed on this earth. I'm not eager for anybody to be faced with something less than love as life moves forward. I want everybody, no matter who they are, no matter how treacherous or evil they may be, and there are a few of them. I don't understand evil in its full context. I don't understand the origins of evil. I've got ideas about it, sure. I've got ideas about why people have certain evil habits in their life, but I'm humble enough to tell you I don't understand the nature of evil. I know some people who wax eloquently about it, and God bless them. Go for it. You tell the whole world your theory. And maybe there's something in there I've never heard. But for me, evil is a mystery. And so, since it's a mystery, I'm eager to let the love of God sort that out. I'm I'm sure that in my life, my mistakes, my errors, and even when I intended to be a fool, when I've had a few moments of my full intention to be foolish, in my life, I want love to sort that out. I want love to remake me, reshape me, pick me up, dust me off, and make of me something better than I was just a moment prior, or a day prior, or a year prior. I want my life to improve. I don't want my life to be static and boring and stationary. And I know for me, the decision I've made is love's creed. I'm not on this earth for anything less than love. I refuse to let my life be summed up in hate. I refuse for my life to be uh, turned right or left, even slightly or greatly, toward anything less than love. Why is that? Well, because what I know is love has love has created for me a life worth living. I've watched thousands of other people where love has created a life worth living. Whatever the expression of love that may be. For some it's family love, for some it's friendship love, for some it's love of the love of a neighbor, or even the love of an enemy that came along and decided they would repent and turn away from their enmity and become a decent human being, a good person, and love instead of hate. I simply know for all that I have been in this world, in my pastoral life of half a century, and my my adult life. I'm 72. I was just trying to give you a number for how long I feel like I've been an adult. I'll get back to you on that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I devolve into adolescence occasionally. You'll have to talk to my wife. She'll give you examples. But as I've moved along in this life, and whether it's my calling or my humanity, I don't know of anything else that would be worth aiming for, stretching myself out for, pointing my nose toward, and just shooting a straight line toward, and other than love. Love has been the answer, whatever the question has been. Love for me, I know, was the answer that kept me from self-destructing as a teenager who had a lot of confusing details going on in my life in my childhood. I know love was what set me on a path that kept me from self-destructing. I also know love is what has brought to me into my life the love of my life, my wife, who on August 9th, 1974, we were married the day Richard Nixon left office. And I like to say Richard Nixon turned out to be guilty as hell, and Ginger and I turned out to be a match made in heaven. So love sorted everything out for me. We were glad to have just sung a cheery love song, finding each other in the middle of what everybody thought was the end of the United States of America as we knew it. We just sallied along and carried on a happy song. That's amazing, isn't it? Seems to me like whatever the case is in America today, in the United States of America, seems to me perhaps love will have the same result for millions of us going forward. Seems to me, no matter what the civil unrest, the division, which is pretty bad, the acrimony, the pain and misery that's being rifled back and forth at each other, both verbally and sometimes violently, I think love is going to have the final say on it. That I just know that if humanity is at all going to survive going forward, that love's going to have to enter in there somewhere. And what I believe that even if it's a few of us who can aim and search and reach and point toward the strategies of love, even if it's a few, I do believe that the strength of that will be sufficient to carry the rest of humanity along for the rest of the story, whatever that story may end up being. Love will finalize all humanity. Love will be the last statement. Unconditional love and unarmed truth is what Martin Luther King Jr. said will have the final say on reality. I believe that. So to that end, however good or bad my life may be on any given day, to choose love is to choose the flow of the human river, the river of humanity, and its roar, the riverbed, is going to be sustained by love. And I don't know any other power that I'm interested in playing with or touching or hanging on to. I like to say I'm gonna dip my paddle into that river and keep my canoe upright the best way I know how, whatever may come. Love for neighbors, obviously. Love for enemies, less than obvious. Love for the unknown. Love for the stranger. Love for your family. Families. Sometimes I think we naively think that love in our family is a given, and I think most of you, if you really thought about it more deeply, you know it's not a given. Surely wasn't a given in my family. My family of origin was rough and tumble, and without going into stories here, I just know that I had to resolve a lot of things with saying, I love you. To say to my brother who died by suicide, after his death at his memorial service, I said, I don't know what demons destroyed you. I don't know what demons dragged you into the dark hole of the grave, but here's what I do know about you. Rick, I love you. Now that is the container that I carry life in. I know that the container of love is what has sustained. I mentioned my wife earlier. I know that it's sustained our marriage. She and I are not some kind of naive little boy, little girl. Neither one of us have had any notions of naivete about what it takes to have a successful marriage. I think if you'd interviewed us 51 years ago, we might have had some of that naivete. But all that naivete was melted away when she and I both discovered our own maturity, our own immaturity, our own lifestyle. See how I separated life's style, the style by which you've chosen to live life prior to marriage is going to have to adjust and adjust mightily after you're married. And so we simply had to work that out. We've been to counselors. We've been through many, many dark days and nights. We've been through far more bright and beautiful days. Why? Because love sustained us. And the decision to love was there. Sometimes that came through our mouth and our voice in a strain. And most of the time it came through with a finality of decision. So that when I look into the eyes of my wife and I say, Ginger, I love you. When I say that now, this is not some little boy talking to his crush in second grade. This is a full-grown adult looking at another full-grown adult and knowing that the two of us have seen and heard and said and been around a whole lot of life. And so when you add the criteria of being able to look each other in the eye and say, listen to me carefully now. I love you. There's a weightiness about that is it's more than a fleeting moment of saying what you feel obligated to say. For us, there is no obligation in it. It's the reconciling of all things between us along the way. And I'm eternally grateful. She's listening right now to this recording because that's what we do every week. We sit down She and I listen together. And I know I'm looking at her right now and I'm smiling and I'm saying, hey, Ginger, I love you. Now, I'm playing around a little bit right now, but I'm also encouraging you to find the strategy and the straight arrow aim of sustaining that kind of view of the world in your life. Many of you don't have a spouse to whom you can say that right now. And all I'm suggesting is that you find it in yourself with somebody somewhere, whether you've known them but a few days or maybe a few decades, whatever the case may be. Find it in yourself to reveal to them that you have a strategy for their relationship, your relationship with them. And here's the strategy. Strategy isn't to battle them and overcome them. That's not your strategy. Your strategy in life isn't to overcome their arguments with your arguments, to best them in any given conversation. Well, that's just immaturity. Your strategy is love. Your strategy is to discover in that person something of a deep admiration that you carry, or just a curiosity, simply the curiosity of what makes who you're looking at, friend, neighbor, whoever they may be, what makes them tick? What has created this human being that's in front of you, whether for a long time or a short time? And to strategize that relationship with love, that's brilliant. It really is. It's the genius way of living life. And again, you may not be able on any given moment to look at somebody as I just described and say, with the determination I just described, I love you. You may have to work up to that. Or then again, maybe you want to go ahead and break the ice on that and just put it out there and then let the chips fall. I saw a picture in my mind of what that could look like, but whatever the case may be, to strategize a relationship in love is to understand that the person you're encountering, the people, groups that you're encountering, the lives that you're brushing shoulders with, deserve the respect of love. And if it's more, and it obviously it will be more than saying I love you, but it certainly can be the strength of living a life of love that is a light in a dark place, a light in dark moments, a light in a dark neighborhood, a light in a dark nation, which I think the United States of America is in a dark spot right now. We've got some serious issues that are going to need love. Not your politics or my politics, not your final decision as to how our political world's going to work itself out. No, we're going to need love in that process. Because I don't see anybody anytime soon deciding that all of our politics are going to finally just melt away and we're all going to be easy peasy, cotton candy, rainbows, and unicorns together and everything's going to be sweet and happy. I don't see that happen. But what I do see is that perhaps, even if it's a minority of us, can live love loud, live love strong, live love with the determination that I'm not going to drop this ball. I'm not going to let love be a secondary choice, that my life is going to be carried along, as I described earlier, in this rushing river of love, so that together with whoever may be a friend or partner along the way, we can ride the rapids of the world that we live in. And that, I think, my friends, is the only way through, whether it's our nation or other nations or the whole wide world put together. All right, I've got to bring this to a close, and what I'm going to ask you to do with me is to take a deep breath. Draw in a good, solid lungful of air. Hold it in the bottom of your lungs, up against your diaphragm for just a few seconds. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Hold it. And exhale. That's an exercise of, I think, great health. I think a basis for health, lowering your blood pressure, calming your mind, and simply giving you an opportunity to slow life down in a small little sabbatical moment. Now, the next thing I want you to do is join me in the words I said earlier as I described what my wife and I do every time we listen together to this broadcast. To choose the three most holy, charmed, magical, wonder-filled words in the human language. Choose them with eye contact, with real, steady, slow manner in which to say it. And say, I love you to somebody. I get it. It's awkward, it's weird, it's startling. And the reason it's awkward, weird, and startling is because we simply don't do it often enough. I dream of a day when it's not awkward, weird, and startling. But in the meantime, we're going to have some practice. So find somebody, friend, foe, stranger, neighbor, even if you got to start with your pet, and say those three words with eye contact. I love you. It's rattling. I know it's rattling. And it's a good thing to be rattled like that. Wouldn't you rather be rattled like that than to have someone spew hate in your face? Of course you would. So let's practice, shall we? Like the doctor who's practicing medicine. Let's be doctors of love and practice love for all humanity. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Because the biggest mistake we make is thinking we still have time. Be present, folks. Be kind. Love more. Love now. And don't let tomorrow be the goal. Let today, this day, the one day you know you've got, the next breath you've got, let this moment be what you determine you're going to love more and love now. Mother Teresa once said, go into the world today and love the people you meet. Let your light be the presence that lights new light in the hearts of others. I mangled it a little bit there, but I think I said it well anyway. Mother Teresa, I'm sure she has forgiveness for me as she looks down from heaven. Know this, that no one of us on any given day is going to practice love perfectly. But the practice of love is the light we all need. Whether it's perfect or not, it's the light we all need. I always close here by saying, listen, folks, it's time for us to go out there and do something beautiful because ugly is getting done to death. Let's be the people who rise and shine with the radiance and the glow of love in every place we appear. Now, I'm Bishop Randy Dean, no BS Bishop, and I'm saying to you, whoever you are listening, I love you. There's not a stinking thing you can do to change that. I love you, and my heart is right now aimed at making sure that love becomes the strength, the strategy, and the priority of the lives that are tuning in with me right now. Let's get out there and do it, right? Okay. Now, understand this. When I say happy trails, it's not just an old cowboy salutation. It's the lilt of my heart. Happy trails, y'all. I love you.
Thanks for listening to the No BS Bishop podcast. If you like the show, leave a comment on it. Or, even better, share it with your friends. And we'll see you on the next one.